Gervonta Davis makes a successful first defense of his IBF World Super Featherweight title with a third round TKO victory over Liam Walsh. Now, in the build up to this fight, there was a significant minority of people who felt that an upset was a realistic possibility. I certainly wasn't one of those people, but at the same time, I can't really criticize those who felt like Walsh had a serious chance because I really hadn't seen Liam Walsh fight before. I'd seen little clips of him fighting here and there, but I wasn't really that familiar with Walsh as a fighter. So I couldn't really be too critical of those who felt that Walsh had a chance or that he was going to win. What I did believe, however, is that Gervonta Davis was extremely talented. I said this from his previous fight when he won the title against Jose Pedraza. And I'd seen him previous to that as well, I believe. Very talented, extremely fast, big puncher. People have compared him to Adrian Broner, but one thing I said in my Pedraza post-fight review, is that Gervonta Davis has much quicker feet than Adrian Broner. So there might be some stylistic similarities, and obviously he's a southpaw, whereas Broner's orthodox. There might be some stylistic similarities, but Broner's always had slow feet, whereas Gervonta Davis got very quick feet. So he can get in and out, unlike Broner. That gives an extra dimension to his game, and again, he's also a southpaw. So going into this fight, I knew Gervonta Davis was very, very talented. A lot of people just saw him as, a Floyd Mayweather, not clone, but almost like a Floyd Mayweather knockoff. A prodigy of Floyd's who would never be as good as Floyd, or, just end up being a hype job. This is what a lot of people were thinking. And in fact, this is what a lot of people were hoping. Certainly the pro-Walsh crowd were hoping that Gervonta Davis wasn't the real deal. But the way he was able to dispatch Liam Walsh, we can't really say much because Walsh, that's the first time he's ever fought for a world title. It's not like Walsh is one of the top fighters in the division or anything. He isn't. He certainly hasn't proved himself to be so far, at least. So we can't really give Gervonta Davis too much credit for beating Liam Walsh, but we can give him credit for going into another guy's backyard on the other side of the pond, having no trepidation, no fear, no nervousness, nothing. I liked Gervonta Davis's ring entrance, by the way. He dressed up like Michael Jackson and he came out to, I think it was Beat It. I grew up in the 80s, man, so I do like them old school Michael Jackson songs. But yeah, Gervonta Davis fought a good fight. He's a short little guy, but he does have a decent reach on him for somebody so short. And he beat Liam Walsh. I felt the first round was close-ish. The second round, I think Davis won fairly clearly. And obviously the third round, he took Liam Walsh out. He was sharper than Walsh at long range. And Walsh is a guy who does have feet. He can move. He is pretty fast himself. He was taller than Gervonta Davis. But Davis was just too sharp and too quick on the outside for Liam Walsh. And obviously too powerful. In the third round, when he caught him, Walsh went down once. He was allowed to continue by the referee. Davis stepped in, started battering him again. And the referee stepped in and stopped the fight pretty quickly after that. Some people think the stoppage was controversial. I mean, I think it could have gone on a little longer, but Walsh was out of it. I mean, he said in a post-fight interview that he wasn't out of it, but if you look at his legs, even after the knockdown, his legs were all over the place. And when he got up, his legs was all over the place. When the referee asked him to put his hands up, he looked drunk. So with that kind of power that Davis has, I can understand why the referee made the decision that he did in stopping the fight. I'm not saying it's the greatest stoppage ever, but given how seriously out of it he was, and it's not like the George Groves-Carl Froch fight where Froch wasn't really landing clean shots at the time of the stoppage. And Groves hadn't been down in that situation. In this situation here, Walsh had been down, and he'd been seriously hurt. He'd been getting hit with clean shots. So that's why, I can't really argue with that stoppage too much. Maybe some of you can. Maybe some of you thought it was a terrible stoppage and that Walsh should have been given more time. Let me know what you think of Gervonta Davis's performance. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see Davis as any different as I did previously. When he beat Pedraza, I thought that was impressive. So I haven't, my impression of him hasn't significantly elevated. The only thing I learned from this fight against Liam Walsh is that Davis is able to go into another guy's backyard and hold it together mentally. Although in this case against Liam Walsh, I don't think he really felt he was up against much anyway in terms of the opposition. Maybe if he was going into the backyard of somebody who was a proven world level operator, he might be a bit more nervous. But against Liam Walsh, I mean, he just had the look of a man who felt like he won before he even touched down in England, probably. Before he even got in the arena, he already felt like he'd won. He was just turning up to collect his paycheck. That's the confidence that I got from Gervonta Davis in the build up to this fight, walking into the arena, the pre-fight preliminaries, during those, and also from the opening bell, just supreme confidence from the guy. So yeah, let me know what you feel about his performance. And as far as who he's going to fight going forward, people are talking about Lomachenko. He's not ready for no Lomachenko. Would I like to see the fight? Yes. Gervonta Davis as a world title holder should be fighting Lomachenko. If you're calling yourself champion, you should be willing to fight anybody in your division. That's my view on the situation. But we know how boxing works. We know how boxing politics works. It's unlikely. One fight I would like, if the Lomachenko fight can't happen, is a fight between Gervonta Davis and Gary Russell Jr. I would really love to see that fight. That could be very exciting. Two southpaws who are extremely quick. Both guys can punch. Gervonta Davis, younger than Gary Russell, quicker feet. Gary Russell probably got quicker hands than Gervonta Davis. Gary Russell's hands are ridiculously quick, but he needs to have his feet planted to be able to let off them signature combinations of his. So yeah, a Gary Russell, Gervonta Davis fight I'd be very interested in. And Gary Russell is the weight below, isn't he? Is he featherweight, not super featherweight? I lose track sometimes when it comes to the lighter weights. I believe Gary Russell's a featherweight, not super feather at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's a fight I'd like to see. And obviously Davis against Lomachenko. I'd definitely pick Lomachenko at this stage. But Davis is very, very talented. So in a year or two's time, if Lomachenko is still around the same kind of weight divisions as Davis, then, maybe Davis would have a chance against Lomachenko. If Lomachenko slows down a bit, Davis keeps improving. We'll see what happens. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, people, about all the points I've touched on in this video. All right, it's happening. I'm out.